Y'all, we live. Y'all know how we do. Always pushing help, well, better understand the self. So, finna let everybody get in the chat, but we finna have some FBA conversation. Let FBA give off a piece of their mind. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, push me on the algorithm. Greatly appreciate that. Getting ready for this new year with all y'all. Appreciate all y'all for tapping in.
Come see Columbus, Ohio, fraud investigators. If you go to the government-assisted housing areas, you will find that most of the housing is Somalians.
More Somali fraud has been exposed out of Ohio. This is getting out of hand, and they're all being exposed.
We wanted to come out to Columbus, Ohio, and investigate what might be going on in the second largest Somali community in the United States of America.
No kids? So how can I enroll my children? It says you get. This is a money that gets.
Today we will hear from Americans speaking on the Somali scandal hitting the state of Ohio. Check it out.
Come see Columbus, Ohio, fraud investigators. If you go to the government-assisted housing areas, you will find that most of the housing is Somalians. I would say about 80% of the government-assisted housing in Columbus is occupied by Somalians. And the parking lot is occupied with a whole bunch of brand new cars. And the women walking around have designer purses with EBT cards, and they have Apple iPhones stuck up in their hijabs. Yeah. And then go to the businesses that are owned by the men. Because see, what happens is when you have a restaurant or when you have a little corner store and you have a couple of wives and you only have to claim one, then that means the other wives get EBT cards, and you can use those EBT cards to buy food for your store or your restaurant. Yeah. Or what you can do is you can get a home health aid company. And then you only hire Somalians to work the home health aid. And what you do is you just make sure their paperwork looks right. It don't have to be right, but you just make sure it looks right. And then you send them off for those home health aid jobs.
Ms. Minnie, I appreciate you.
Y'all don't want to talk about fraud.
If you can't balance on one foot for 30 seconds, I beg you to try this. You don't.
So right now we are in front of the Great Minds Learning Academy. This is one of the many daycare centers, learning centers here in Columbus, Ohio that are associated with the Somali community. We wanted to come out to Columbus, Ohio and investigate what might be going on in the second largest Somali community in the United States of America. So this place here is the first place we're gonna knock, and we're gonna see if anybody picks up or answers the door. Let's see. So it's locked. We're ringing the doorbell here. Knocking on the door. Nobody's picking up. So we're not sure what the hell's going on here, but we're gonna get out of here. Now there's somebody over there. How you doing, sir? I'm sure you see the reports over the weekend about all the.
You got more and more YTs trying to expose this too. First it was just Nick Shirley. Now you got all of them. And they trying to get to the bottom of it.
Daycare centers in Minnesota. We just wanted to see what was going on. Did you know anything about this place here?
It's a daycare center owned by Somalians and stuff like that.
Do you ever see any kids there?
No, because they use the back door, so I won't know if they is.
They use the back door.
Yeah, I've never seen nobody come in, but they use the back door.
But have you ever seen any kid? You live around here?
Yeah, on this building right here.
Oh, you're in this building?
Yeah.
You're in this building too? Hey, let me ask you, have you ever seen any kids in this place here?
No, not that I know of. They use the back, so I've never seen nobody come out the front.
You've never seen anybody over there?
No, not at all.
I just seen it, the building itself. I've never seen nobody come out the building or go in the building.
Bro, I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I knew about the Somali shit 20 years ago. I had my son 20 years ago. I went to go get Section 8. Drove down to the Section 8 office in Columbus, Ohio, and guess who the fuck I seen? 100 Somalians, nigga. They had fucking tents. They had their vans parked in the parking lot and made tents, nigga. It's first come, first serve when you go to get help from the government. Then when you wait after all these niggas, they're like, oh yeah, we don't got no more room left. We only had 80 spots. Yeah, 100 Somalians got all the motherfucking Section 8, nigga. I knew about this 20 years ago. I never did get the Section 8, and the government don't give a fuck. The federal government don't care. They complicit.
He said Somalians was out there like it was Black Friday, like it was about to be a Jordan release. They was camped out, right? And these spaces are so limited when it comes to Section A or any type of housing assistance. Once they fill up, these lists could be on pause. They could freeze these lists for 5 to like 15 years where you're waiting for them to open up the list to get, to try to apply again. And someone notified them, right? They probably know people in the housing, in the HUD office to notify them like, hey, we're about to open up the list. Be here as soon as possible. While they're blocking out Americans for even hopping on this list. And he said this been going on 20 years ago in Ohio before the Minnesota even hit. So they'll get in these positions and just only look out for their people, period. Like this need to be addressed. And that's why people wonder why Donald Trump or Scott Turner is talking about, we're going to have housing limits now. There's no more generational, housing. Yo, mama was on it. Her mama was on it.
All right. So a lot of this fraud in Minnesota is centered around daycares. And now there are claims about daycares coming up from Ohio. And this is crazy. I'm just going to start showing you some of these examples here. But basically, Columbus is home to the nation's second largest Somali community behind Minnesota. There's about 60,000 Somali Americans in Columbus, and there's 500 Somali-owned businesses. And if you're not caught up on this, the FBI is now investigating this fraud in Minnesota. They say that it might reach up to $9 billion, one of the largest Medicaid frauds in American history. And federal officials have portrayed the Somali community as a hotspot for fraud. And I mean for trade, but most of the fraud defendants are of Somali descent in Minnesota. So people just started using this tool where you can look up daycare centers in Ohio to look these places up. So here's 161 Child Care LLC, and it's listed at this address. So I literally just put this address in my own personal Google Maps, and this is what I see. It's listed as a smoke shop. Okay, and then here's First Choice Child Care. It's listed at this address, 4303 Cleveland Avenue. And this is what I see. It's just like the windows are all blacked out. There's no playscape. There's nothing for kids. Maybe the photo was taken at the wrong time, but not many cars there. All right. And then there's Benati Child Care 2. And it's at 3629 Cleveland Avenue. And here we go again. Part of it is a boutique with bars on it. And here's the child care center. These all say 6 weeks to 12 years old. And if you have kids, you would know that most child care centers do not enroll kids that are between 6 weeks and 12 years old. That's way too big of a spread. But it enables you to get more kids enrolled, hypothetically, or at least claim that they're enrolled. And then you just start looking at the reviews. And so if they even have reviews, like this place got 2 reviews 2 years ago, and they're both 5-star reviews. And again, I don't know if you have kids, but daycares get reviews. Okay, and then you got the Hayat Learning Center, and it's at 2599 Tiller Lane. This place you can't even see on Google Maps. But you can see that at this address, there's like all these businesses that are listed there, and this learning center is just one of them, and it has no reviews. And then this one, Ka Child Care, which is listed at 2635 Dublin. And that's this spot here. You got to love the 1-star award winner. But mostly you just notice like there's no playground, there's no kids. And this place is listed as being permanently closed, but it got 1 review and it's been open since 2018. So in the last, 5-6 years, 1 review. All right, so here is Bright Kids Academy. We get the classic blacked out windows again. No reviews. Here is the Star Zone Daycare here. Again, blacked out windows, no cars, no playground. They do have a few reviews, and this lady said it's a joke. The teachers are not trained and are basically women that bring their kids to the center, and this is going to come back. Here's another one that donated to his campaign, Primo One Daycare. Again, classic, no cars, blacked out windows. And they had the wherewithal to put up these, nice looking photos, but again, no reviews. And here's this one, Rise Up Daycare, which is in this place. Again, classic, no playground. They say that they've enrolled 71 kids, which means they're getting reimbursed for, more kids. But when they were actually inspected, there was hardly any kids in the building. So yeah, it looks like the same scheme that's been used in Minnesota likely seems like it's going on in Ohio. And when I'm reflecting on this, it just makes me remember that Somalis follow this Islamic tradition where men can marry up to 4 wives, provided they're able to support them. And based on my research, it just seems like oftentimes what will happen is there will be one official marriage and then more cultural marriages. But then I started thinking about this lady's review where she was like, hey, the teachers aren't trained and they're basically just women that bring their kids to the center. And I was like, oh yeah, of course. That might jive with this whole thing. And so it's like, all right, cool. So if the guys are able to support them is the big thing, but just are we the ones supporting them? And if so, just genuine question. Do we want to do that?
This is not going to be just Minnesota. And I think a lot of people are curious now about their own state. So here you have Ohio. And this was just uncovered in Ohio. Over 40 daycare centers in Columbus, Ohio opened up using the same defunct Somali shell company on the same day and collected $14 million in subsidies in 2024 alone. And then there are your receipts right there. And what's extremely frustrating is that people are more upset at this fraud being exposed than the actual fraud that is being exposed. And that is exactly how people got away with this so long. And because the majority of this fraud that's being uncovered at the moment happens to be from the Somali community, people are upset that others are pointing this out, calling individuals a specific name. I don't care who it's coming from, what community you belong to, where you come from. Fraud is fraud. And it does not mean that every single person who is Somalian is committing this fraud. But if you can't call out things within your own community, then that shows that you have an allegiance to your community rather than calling out fraud, which is a serious problem to a lot of people.
For more than 30 years, consequential pattern has been unfolding in America, one where federal and state governments, nonprofit networks, and political interests intersect with immigrant communities in ways that are neither accidental nor innocent.
I do feel
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
What many now call the Somali.
They're getting Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar. So I think the people at the top are definitely going to get dealt with. They coming. They just freeze some accounts.
Somali scandal is not simply about fraud or misuse of public funds. It is about how the American government repeatedly looks the other way when corruption serves political or economic goals, and how immigrant communities are often encouraged.
But yeah, it is big talk that Tim Walz and the other dude is going. They're going down, y'all. They're going down. But y'all know I've been doing a lot of videos on these anchor babies and first generation immigrants that's in office. It's a lot of them running for governors. A little recommendation, brother, change the volumes, make the videos volume softer. Okay, yeah, you mean, I normally pause it, when it's live, but I got you. Paul Beer. But it's a lot of this going on with the daycare. They're saying that this could stretch probably to every state. I don't know where all the Somalis at, but they're saying this is a lot bigger than just Minnesota. But I want y'all to see, this is how you really know his problems. Check this out. This is what they got pumping on Ilhan Omar. So they got another petition, and that's a different kind of petition, but she under investigation, and so is Tim Walz. So I think that it may be some big news coming on them. Black Caucus members always. I think Tim Walz probably gonna walk and they gonna stick her. You know how it go. Black Caucus used to getting in trouble, so they gonna put it on her, in my opinion. But I want to get what y'all take in this. I'm gonna throw the link in the comment. But yeah, it is investigations on all of them. I was saying at first, like, what's taking so long? Like, I ain't never seen nobody, ahead of crime and be out this long and not get arrested. But they saying they is under investigation. So salute. Well, she said she is not black and married to a white man. Yeah, she is. I gotta get y'all to see that. But not only is she married to the white man, right? The white man had deleted so much. He had a business that he had online that had to do with daycare, and he deleted it. So it's something going on. I hope they reveal that. But yeah, she know what she was doing when she got with the white dude. I wanted to show y'all a couple of them. Check this out. Check this out. There you go, right there. They cannot find a home or father's naturalized citizenship, which means she is not a legal citizen. Dang, for real? That's crazy. That's crazy. Because they are not Black Americans. If it was Black Americans, they would be in jail by now. For real, they would have got a RICO case. But that's homeboy right there, him. He had the businesses. So Wealth Surge, a pair of companies owned by Tim Minett, the husband of Rep Ilhan Omar. How the heck a white man being with a whatever. Have exploded in value in recent years, growing more than 20 times in under a year, prompting questions about how the companies achieved their apparent rapid success. But I really believe her husband is an Arab. Yeah. Started a company from zero. KG, what's good, fam? Happy New Year, man. Appreciate y'all. Y'all tapped in with the family. She started a company from zero and went to multi-million-dollar business. This really should make us very mad. For real, bro. We can't even get a business loan. Man, they won't even give us a business loan for 10 bands. He look like DJ Khaled. All I do is win. See, he scrubs all his bios. So he probably was saying he did this and did this. Ameswell, what's good, fam? Family in the building. Y'all coming in here tonight. Don Jeter. Brother. What's good, man? Happy New Year to everybody, man. That's how other communities invade. Oh, okay, fam. I ain't let me check. You text me. I gotta check. I don't want to. I'm gonna check it out, fam. Timeless. I gotta check it out, man. You got me interested right now. But what's good? What's good? Has anybody reached out to 47 like Ice Cube did? We need to reach out, whether on the internet or however. We know how to do it. Talk about that money Trump was talking about. I don't know. It's been a lot of stuff that our people been turning down money. Let me show y'all, bro. There's been a lot of stuff going on. See how people been turning down money. And I can't let me get my dog. All right, let me get this on. Let me show y'all this. It's New Year's. We lit, Rob. For real, y'all turn me up, man. I'm finna show y'all this, though. Check out my boy. The platinum plan. Man. Y'all check out this, though. Let me show y'all. This is my boy Introvert. And it's the new year. We getting all the foolishness out. Hold on. Okay, here you go. Y'all check this out by my boy Introvert.
We are back now with the growing fallout involving the Kennedy Center and President Trump's push to leave his mark on that cultural institution. You've got more artists now pulling out of scheduled events, including the Cookers. They're a jazz band. They were set to perform a couple of concerts on New Year's Eve, but they've now joined a growing list of artists backing out. That latest wave coming after the Trump-appointed board voted unanimously to rename the center the Donald J. Trump and the John F. Kennedy Memorial Center for the Performing Arts, as you see there. The president's name added to the building earlier this month. I want to bring in our White House correspondent, Yamiche Alcindor, who's joining us now. Okay, Yamiche, this has been a thing that has been building for a bit now. Let's start with the latest and the Cookers, this jazz group. What are they saying about this decision to back out?
Well, interestingly, this group, the Cookers, they're not saying in particular that this is tied to the name change of the building, but they're essentially saying that the atmosphere has been one that they don't want to perform in. I want to read to you part of their statement. They say jazz was born from struggle and from a relentless insistence on freedom of thought, of expression, and of the full human voice. Some of us have been making this music for many decades, and that history still shapes us. They go on to say, our hope is that this moment will leave space for reflection, not resentment. So again, not specifically saying that the president's actions are what's causing them to cancel these concerts, but essentially hinting at that, Hallie.
And Yamiche, it's not just the Cookers, right? I mean, you look at, I think there was a run at Hamilton, for example, that ended up getting.
Salute, Don Jeter, bro. Appreciate you. You know you always be standing on business this year, 2026. Yeah, bro, you always been supporting. I appreciate you, bro. Let's get it. We're gonna turn up.
Getting 86th basically by them. And when you look at the bigger picture, the Kennedy Center has typically and traditionally, as you well know, having lived and covered DC for so long, been pretty nonpartisan.
That's right. Even though President Trump, if you ask him, he would say that the Kennedy Center was sort of biased against conservatives. But for the most part, people have said that this is a nonpartisan performing arts center that welcomed all sorts of performances. But the president essentially was saying that the building was getting too lit.
Y'all remember I did y'all the video with, we had our farmers, they farming food and they turned down 12 billion. So we just, I mean, we got to see what's going on, but I get what brother was talking about. We need to talk to Ice Cube to see what because our brother turned down some money.
Liberal and was too welcoming, essentially, to performances and people that he didn't agree with. And now we've seen this fallout. We've seen ticket sales go down.
And you already know on this channel, we hold racist, Caucasian people accountable. Because if we don't, who will? If you don't like black people, black issues, black talks, get the stepping.
Peace, Cassandra.
Black Americans respected John F. Kennedy because he openly acknowledged racial injustice and treated it as a national issue, not a regional problem to ignore. His administration strengthened civil rights enforcement, challenged discrimination in housing and employment, and used his authority as the president to signal that racism was a moral failure of the country. Make that make sense. And there you have it, folks. That's the reason why Trump put his name on that building. And look, I wasn't alive in the 1960s, but I never heard black people speak bad about JFK. I just never heard it. But one thing I learned about this country, if you're a politician, an activist, if you have some type of influence over people, if you speak up for black people, if you help black people, if you uplift black people, they will get rid of you. Tell me I'm lying. But before I spaz out in this video, Trump's own people is trolling him and it won't stop. And I told you earlier this year, Trump.
And I want to give this man his flowers, bro. Introvert was the first one to shout me out. You know, that was the first one to put me out. That his brother. I've been keeping a relationship with him, but this is the first dude that put me out there for real, for real.
I told you this. You cannot buy respect. Matter of fact, we're the guy.
How long it takes a beginner like my dad to go from beer belly to get ripped again with Tai Chi.
How old is your
goddamn tape?
And what about this, some of the stuff that's happened with the website, the newly renamed center?
Well, Hallie, of course, it's a little bit of a troll here. This former South Park writer, because the president had been talking and hinting at the idea that he might rename the Performing Arts Center, this person actually purchased both TrumpKennedyCenter.org and TrumpKennedyCenter.com. So there's literally a comedian that owns these websites, so they can't change the name of the website right now, at least not into those two. And then if we can show people the homepage of
So Trump changed the name. I think Trump putting his name on the building, and the black jazz band declined. They declined the money. So I was just bringing a point. Somebody brought up a point about we need to talk to Ice Cube because, we turning down a lot of money. The black farmers turned down $12 billion. They turning down Trump. That was just a talk.
Of Trump Kennedy.
Just keeping you up to speed.
Center.org. If you look up there's the red and there's all this, and it maybe kind of looks like a regular website. But when you scroll down, the website says the next events at the Trump Kennedy Center are to ring in the new year with a performance by the quote Epstein dancers. That, of course, being a reference to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who, of course, has had a lot of controversy. The president has been tied to him just as a friend. He has not been charged with any wrongdoing. He hasn't been accused of any wrongdoing. But the fact that the Epstein files are something that's mentioned on this website really is just trolling President Trump. So it really is in some ways a reminder that as this was all building, there were people that were very much against this, that were making their own kind of moves. Hallie.
Yamish, thank you.
And you already know what I say. Make that make sense. And I told y'all before, I don't trust the left or the right because they both do things to manipulate our people. Throughout history, they both been lying to our people. But Trump up there,
Listen, a real one do not trust the left or the right. We be going hard on the left because they really be including black people. They be saying black. If you don't vote for me, you not black. So that's why we really be going ham, but we don't care. A real FBA don't care nothing about neither one of them because they got to give us what we need, the policies that we want to pass. So it's not even about that. It's about us. So if you tied into that, somebody that's really FBA gonna be looking at you like, I mean, it really don't matter. You can rock with whoever because I'm with for immigration. Don't get it twisted. I love immigration. But you can't get me to just be jumping on and be waving somebody game flag. I can't do it. I don't know what y'all think about that, but yeah, he's saying some real stuff though. We ain't rocking with no sides. We ain't gangbanging. We ain't political gang.
sitting like he big and bad, like he tough. His own people is trolling him. His own people don't even respect him. And this band stood on business. And I love that shit. Check this out. The Cooker said they pulled out because jazz was born from struggle and demand for freedom. Freedom of thought, expression, and a full human voice. They explained that this history still guides them today. And the situation surrounding the New Year's Eve concerts did not align with those values. Make that make sense. And again, shout out to this band because they stood on business. And as Black Americans, we have to stop entertaining people that hate our people. And I know it's all about the money. I know you have to pay your bills to do these type of gigs, but you have to have morals. And you have to remember what our ancestors went through because this dude don't give a damn about our ancestors. He don't give a damn about our history. He's trying to erase our history. He's trying to get rid of anything connected to our history. So I'm glad that everyone canceled on him because he really thought I forgot. But on this channel, I forgets nothing. Check this out. Donald Trump has argued that museums, schools, and cultural institutions that focus on racism or systematic inequality are divisive and un-American. He has supported efforts to cut funding or reconstruct them. This rhetoric has included attacks on federally supported institutions that preserve Black American history, which many interpret as pushing to weaken or get rid of Black history, museums, and programs, while he frames this as promoting patriotic education. Make that make sense. So
now, I went to a museum, a Black museum right here it was in St. Augustine, Fort Mose. It's like supposed to be the first Black town in Florida, right? But when I went to the museum and they showing the difference, they're showing like an Indian looking like kind of like a Philippine, and then they showing a black person. And like this was like, before 1800s. And I feel like the museum is not giving me real information. It seemed like they was trying to make me feel that it was a Filipino looking person in America. So that was just my take on that. And museums be just like how the internet is. It's like they giving out, they ain't talking about how black people were Americans. They talking like, we got shipped over here from Africa. But I just watched this live video. That's dope. That's dope, man. We had to tap into it. They'll never do it right. Trump recognizes the Lumbe tribe and all the other tribe are mad, trying to take the recognition. They're saying the tribe is just black people. This is what I'm saying. We got people that's representing black people, just like how the Somalian people is getting government benefits and stuff like that. We got black people that's representing, that's getting benefits that we don't know about. I'm finna do one. I got one I'm cooking up about. The Zantez just got caught in a scam. I don't get the take. Trump is the furthest from a racist as you get. I mean, that's his take. You say furthest from a racist?
Let me get this straight. Black Americans talking about our history creates a divide. What you talking about, Willis? This country was built on racism and division. Tell me I'm lying. My ancestors built this country. My ancestors created damn near every invention in this country. My ancestors brought culture to this country, and it's still racism today. I can go on and on. They can take the museums. They can take the funding. You think they're going to make me stop talking about this on my channel? You think that's going to make me stop acknowledging my ancestors? You think that's going to make us stop creating in real life like Black Americans? You think that's going to stop anything we doing? We already know our history. Just like these plantations, all they want is money anyway. It's all a scam. We already got all the knowledge already. It is what it is.
If you're working 40 plus hours a week just to feel stuck, burnt out, and underpaid, you're not alone.
Yes.
Hey, what you said, dude, say, I disagree almost everything this man is saying. Dang, everything? I mean, he did say that about Trump, bro. But you disagree with everything? The Limbu, a real Native American, but the Cherokee, that's my family tribe, the Cherokee. You saying the Lumbe? Man, you put almost everything. I mean, that's tough for me to say. I can see if you saying just the Trump situation, but bro be on point, man. Bro be on point now. One thing about introvert, he gonna shoot. Black man. You gotta shoot a shot, man. But basically, they look black, so they are saying they can't be Native American. That's what I'm saying. They kind of want to set the guidelines for like who a real American is. But it's no way. It's no way black people was on the land first. We know that. Bro, you got to watch these Trump supporters. For real. I appreciate the take, but it's unfair to say black people built this country. So you said we got to hit you on that take right now. You said it's unfair to say black people built this country. I want to hear your take on that. They were saying all kind of racist on Facebook. Shout out to the Renaissance woman. They trying to take our native land, bro. That's why they saying black people can't be from America. But why would you say black people didn't? It's unfair to say black people built this country. That's crazy. I want to hear your take on that, Paul Beers. Like, you got to be able to dispute that. We will start with the Native Americans. They weren't black. Bro, this is what we be saying too. Right, the government was only us before. This is what I'm saying. This is what he got to understand, right? No, the Indian people that you see as Native Americans, they weren't in America before us. This is when we got to show you Albert Perry and the DNA and the evidence that shows that we have been here longer than anybody. Yes, they were. We are the Native Americans. Yeah, but them Filipino people that you see that look like that, them $5 Indian, don't believe that. It's some people that's white, literally European, that's claiming they Indians, bro. I did a video on that. Paul, you believe in the theory that all black people came from this one spot in Africa. But what we saying is black people was all over the world. Even white and Spanish and Indian people, they came after that. Native Americans who came over the ice bridge from East Asia were white. Then they came down and were redskin. Bro, you really believe that? You really believe that somebody came down from Asia to America? And then when they got here, they turned brown. You know that can't happen in real life right now. You know if somebody came from East Asia and they did the same thing you saying, they skin color ain't gonna change. The us Grand Army is us. We wore red, white, and blue before Mercury. This is what I'm saying. He don't even understand that. He don't understand. Paul don't understand. At one point in time, bro, it was no Asian, it wasn't no white people. It wasn't none of them. Everybody was black. That was birthed out of black people. So for you to think that an Angloid or anything other than a melanated person wasn't in a place before them is crazy. You cannot say somebody was in a place before them. That don't even make sense. That's years of generation of evolution. Just like you think you probably think white people was, you probably think that white people was black and they just turned white because they went up, you know, they got you probably believing that too. Shout out to Ameswell, bro. To regurgitate, you are saying you believe before the white man, they were nothing but black people. Yeah. And that's evidence proof, bro. But he probably a Christian. That's evidence proof. So you can't say this land was populated with melanated people. How did the white man come about? The white man was created. The white and Spanish man was created, bro. Those races was created. He said, how did the white man come about? Bro, we did videos on this. We're so far beyond built America at this point. I'm curious for your take. Yeah. Paul, are you white? You know what? I got a good one for you too. This lady explained this process very well. Dang, let me get her name. Paul, I want y'all to see this. This lady really. I'm in Germany. Oh yeah, you in Germany, so we already know what time it is. But I want you to watch this about this take on one of our ancestors. Dang, I'm trying to think of her name real quick. Dr. Francis, here it is. I want you to hear this. Dr. Francis Wesley. Hold on. I got something for you. I got something for you. It's from one of our old.
We should say, theory of color confrontation and racism. You call racism white supremacy. To be sure, a provocative and controversial theory on skin color and oppression. Well, I'm ready. So is this mostly but not exclusively white audience. Let them have it, Doctor. How? Boy, oh boy, you need an escort to get out of your speeches?
No, now let me just give you a little background. This paper was written approximately in 1969 and presented in 1970. It was written for a group of black psychiatrists who were looking at racism.
Yeah.
It was also written because as a psychiatrist and working in a hospital trying to treat black people and white people, but recognizing that the majority of the problems that black patients had in a psychiatric hospital, when you took a history, you would run smack into racism. So I knew I had to understand racism to help solve the mental health problems of black people.
Okay.
So out of my brain computer, putting in the question, why? Why do we see this behavior? Why have we seen it for hundreds of years? So I thought about these two things, basically two facts, that even though the white population says that people of color are minorities, that it is the white population that is the minority, the minority on the planet.
That's the reality you're saying.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
That in spite of the fact that black people, non-white people have heard over and over again You're genetically inferior because you are non-white. That in reality, white skin is a genetic recessive status, not as said by Francis Welsing. You see, meaning that if
if you and I were to have a baby, the baby would have color, and you make the contribution, and I don't.
That white
So
plus
what?
colored. Well, wait a minute. It's not Francis Welsing that is concerned about the disappearance of white. Ben Wattenberg just wrote a book, The Birth Dearth. There have been multiple articles in the newspaper talking about the decline of Western populations.
Yeah, here's the Washington Post, just to name one. We are a depopulation bomb, the withering of the Western world. Here, incidentally, this was the percentage of the West's population in 1900, the turn of this century, about 30%. This is where we'll be less than 10% in the year 2075. Here's where we are about today, 15. So we're not having babies.
So whites are not having babies, and there is the concern about white genetic annihilation. In other words, I look at, this is Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday holiday, and people will say, well, here's a man who talked about love. Yeah. Why was he killed? And I say that the deeper logic is, what if all black and white people and non-white people and white people love? What would happen to white people? White would disappear. You see, just mix all of the people on the planet up together.
In other words, if race didn't matter, or if color didn't matter, it follows with the jet plane.
No, I'm not saying if it didn't matter.
So let me stop her right there, right? So this for Paul. Yeah, this from 1988. This lets you know that white was genetically modified, because there's no way people would have been like that around black people. So you would have had to literally separate pale-skinned people for them to breed a lot of people like that. You would have had to been intentional with it, because everybody would have made it everybody, and it would have, you wouldn't have had a pale skin. It's kind of like a breed. Just like you got with the Asian community. All of that is like certain breeds, and this is to fight against the black people that was in power. That's why that was created. But that's my opinion. A lot of people got another.
I'm saying that indeed, if there was a mingling of all of the people, because the ability. Okay, fine.
Absence of prejudice.
The ability. No, wait. Don't confuse what I'm saying. I'm saying that if we mixed all of the people presently on the planet, stirred them up,
that the white freckle-faced people would be gone.
Genetic recessive status would disappear. And that if I did a survey and everybody didn't have to, face anybody, if I said, how many people who are white want their children to be white, want their grandchildren to be white, want their great-grandchildren to be white, want their great-great-grandchildren to be white. And I've gone all over the country in England and asked this question. Yeah. Everybody wants the children and the generations to remain white. Yeah. If you do, then you have to do something to make sure that that happens. And I say that what the thing is that is done, and particularly in relationship to black non-whites, because we have the greatest genetic potential to cause white genetic annihilation.
Because you're the blackest.
Because we, right.
The most color.
Right. We have this ability to produce melanin pigment. We have more of it than anybody else.
So Paul's saying she right. So do you see what we are saying? That in order for you to have a huge population of white people, it had to have been a separation where you want them to be separated and you want them to only mate with each other. Because if that was the case, it would have never existed. But you put she is right, white skin.
And so the most pressure is on black people. As a matter of fact, the black people learn, all non-white people over the world learn. If you're black, stay back. If you're yellow, you're brown, stick around. If you're yellow, mellow, white, right. I can go to England and the people can just say the same thing. Doesn't matter if you go to the Philippines, because there has been a confrontation of brown with white. Everybody knows the more pigment you have, the more pressure that is on you.
Yeah.
But they didn't understand why. I said the why is for the purpose of white genetic survival.
All right. And you're saying that blacks have no similar hidden subconscious anxiety
Not about
their
disappearance.
blackness being undermined by the presence of white?
We don't have
You
that
don't.
fear. And I think that this is something that is not understood. You see, in other words, if I don't worry about, as a matter of fact, under white supremacy, the non-white people try to get lighter. You see, because the less pigment
By
you have,
co-opting the values
less
of
threat you are to
Right.
white, and so the greater opportunity that you have.
Yeah. The mass inability of whites to live and attend school in the presence of non-whites, manifested by the patterns of black and white housing and education throughout this country, and indeed throughout the world, is seen, according to your thesis, in terms of the color confrontation thesis, as the apparent total psychological discomfort experienced by whites in situations in which they must daily face their color inadequacy when they confront their neighbors of color. You go on.
See, I predicted. Look, I wrote that in 1970. I said you cannot have integrated housing. You cannot have integrated schools.
You still believe that?
Well, I mean, the evidence. I always look at the evidence. If Mr. Black and Mr. White live next door to each other, they have the same job, the same income, the same car, the same furniture.
Yeah.
They both walk out of the house in the morning. Good morning, Mr. Black. Good morning, Mr. White.
Yeah.
But Mr. White is still looking, but you've got something that I don't have.
You're saying he's saying that
He's
subconsciously.
saying, right.
Now, wait a minute. All right, we'll give you a chance in just a moment.
You don't see us standing on business in front of all them people, man. Salute to the legend. Let me let them rock.
Wait a minute.
Now, wait a minute.
Let's look at
They're nice people. You're really going to
Wonderful
like them, I
people.
promise you. You know,
Let's
once
look
in
at
a while, you know, a couple of them stop before they come up here, and you got to keep an eye on them.
Let's look at this. You know,
Go ahead, look at it.
very fortunately.
Now, let me just understand this. See, well, the reason they're groaning is, you know, that's an awful bad rap to take. Let me just arrogantly try and reword what I think you're saying. Now, don't get crazy. Let me say.
Please, I'm
Mr.
surprised.
White is looking at Mr. Black, and he's not consciously saying, don't you
Not
dare.
consciously.
So it is under here.
Not consciously. I mean, we could go on for 3 hours. Not
No, we can't.
consciously.
All right. All right.
Okay. I am saying that this behavior is at the subconscious level, and there's a lot of evidence. For example, just on Saturday, the New York Times had an article talking about the percentage of people who want a tan. 66%. I have the article if anybody wants to look at it later. 66% of white adults think they look better with a tan. 70% of white adolescents think they look better with a tan. What do white people? Oh, I look so pale. Now, this is not something that Francis Welsing is putting on people. White females even say their ideal mate is who? Tall, dark, and handsome. Now, Phil, I mean,
Wait a minute. Just a minute. That whites do indeed desire to have colored skin can be seen by anyone at the very first signs of spring or summer. When they begin to strip off their clothes as many pieces as the law will allow, often permitting their skins to be burned severely in an attempt to add some color to their white, pale, colorless bodies, rendering themselves vulnerable to the dreaded skin cancer in the process. Most cosmetics also are seen as an attempt to add color to their skin. Such coloring makeup is even now being provided for the white male. Well, guess who has you-know-what on at this moment? And if you don't mind my saying so, I do. I put it on myself. I don't go to makeup. I have a shine on my nose I've got to take. But I feel better with a little color. And I've got the whitest skin in the whole neighborhood. I'm telling you, no kidding. I'm not bragging. I'm saying as a matter of fact.
I'm not. This is not. My discussion is not about making fun of white people. My discussion is trying to explain behavior. See, people come to psychiatrists.
I value your effort.
Why am I doing this? For example, when I was a very small child, I wanted to understand why black men were lynched. I asked my grandmother and parents, why would this be done? And my grandmother gave a statement. She said something like, well, some people just want to act ugly. But that wasn't sufficient, you know, as a psychiatrist.
May I interrupt for just a moment? Here's the read on that, and I know you want to add to this or make it just a little more complicated. The black male was lynched and often castrated because of the white male fear of the black male's, the myth is the black male's extraordinary sexual capacity. So he was lynched by frightened white males who feared that if he ever got anywhere near the white women, that somehow the white male would be a sex. Now,
Well,
you want to add
now
to that.
his sexual capacity. What are we talking about? I say that the fear is that the black male can cause white genetic annihilation. And this is why the attack on the genitals, there's no history in the world of any non-white men attacking white men's genitals. But why do white men feel the need to zero in on the black man's genitals and cut them off?
Yeah.
You see, in a lot of...
Y'all see, we got to start dropping our nuts. You see what they trying to do? She was telling you back then, they going after the seed. They going right after the seed.
A lot of this is played out in symbolic behavior in this culture. For example, the culture says, keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute.
They laughing.
Look at something that,
I'll get there for just 1 second.
see, look at something that people...
She ain't playing though. They around here laughing, but she like, really, nigga, this is pain. Yeah, she did her thing. She's speaking out of like real wanting to know and pain and going through this, seeing how people go through this while they all keep laughing.
People do not look at. Look at the game of billiards. See, the psychiatrist knows that through games we play out subconscious activity.
Yes, they do.
Okay, now look at this game. Here's a game with colored balls.
Yes.
All over the table.
And guess who gets to shoot the ball?
The white ball knocks all the colored balls under the table.
And often saves the black
And then the black ball, right.
Till last.
Till last.
Because there's a specialness about the black. Yeah. Let me, Dr. Wellesley, now, you're not surprised at the response of this audience. Just a couple of things here for the sake of our conversation. First of all, we welcome your contribution. That is, for what it's worth, I certainly do. Which does not mean, therefore, that I or this audience necessarily agree with everything you say. But let me tell you what I think is important. I don't think we've asked enough questions about this thing called racism, which has, in my opinion, the capacity to bring us down as a nation, if not, certainly not only here, but in many parts of the world. It is in the American bloodstream, and it's especially manifest here. So good for you trying to figure this out, because it's my, no kidding, it's my opinion, not enough smart people are really speaking to we run away from this. Another point you make, you think the token black is an effort to assuage this.
Look how she looking at him like she ain't playing no game. Man, this kind of energy, man, I love that sister. Y'all see what kind of how she conducting herself. Check this out.
Hidden feeling that we have, is that, how do you explain?
Well, the token black, I mean, you might say that was under pressure. Do you see? That you have to, the civil rights movement, you have to include some non-white people. But every effort is made to move around that. Mm-hmm. And I understand, I mean, it's tragic and it's injustice.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying here, I'm saying all over this planet, whether we're talking about South Africa. And see, one important example that people do a lot of surface talking about is the Holocaust. See how quiet it is? The Holocaust in Germany was because what? Because the Semites of the Jewish religion were said by the Europeans to be non-white people. The Holocaust didn't just occur.
So you think that there's
Wait a minute, do you see what I'm saying? If we have denial going on about this, all you have to do is look at what the Nazis are saying today. What the Klan is saying today.
So you're saying anti-Semitism has the same root?
If you read Hitler, if you read all the documentation...
Anti-Semitism has pigmentation as it's under
do with the Semites. Look at the part of the world that the Semites come out of. I say that the word Semite comes from the Latin prefix semi, meaning half. It's a word like mulatto. It means a combination of black African women, Greek and Roman soldiers, and you had that mixture. 2,000 years of continuing mixture in Europe made a lighter group of people
can I just,
that were still considered to be non-white.
when you use lighter and you say recessive, and you use the word recessive gene, I think I know what that means.
This is not my language. This is the language of formal genetics.
That's true. But you equate recessive with inferior. Now, just hang on one second.
Go ahead.
I don't claim to be the first one to bring this to your attention, but aren't you dangerously close to Joseph Mengele with all this stuff?
No.
How about Shockley?
No. Wait a minute. No. What I am trying to do is explain some very, very important behavior on the planet that other people have shied away from dealing with.
Yeah.
Do you see? And to say that because you talk about it, it's just like if somebody studied tuberculosis and say, well, are you against the tuberculosis organism? No, you're trying to understand
Well,
it.
but you do bring judgments. I mean, so when you equate recessive with inferior, that's not science. That's
wait a minute.
judgment.
No. I'm not. That's not what I say. I say that the people who are feeling an absence of color, that they look at themselves in that way. And they have a response to therefore say, if I can get in charge of all these non-white people, then I am going to be superior. So nobody is uncomfortable in the white collective with all the white superiority that goes on every day. Look at television. White. Wait a minute.
All right, I got it. Hold on a minute. All right, hang on just 1 second.
Goodness.
Hold 1 second. There are a couple of things which you, listen, there are people out there who say, look at all the progress we're making.
Look at the Urban League report.
I am not one of those people.
Fine.
Nevertheless, there are examples of integrated communities. Truly are.
But see, the answer is not a question of are there a few black people living where white people live. The issue is that if we are going to have peace on the planet, there has to be justice. And white supremacy, where you have the tiniest number of people on the planet holding down the vast majority of people on the planet, happens to be the highest form of injustice.
Yeah.
And so if we are going to have peace, see, I'm not talking about destroy white people. I'm saying, but we do have to eliminate white supremacy. And I say in the back of that paper, the challenge to white behavioral scientists, help people who classify themselves as white become comfortable with their color and comfortable with their minority status, so that they are not feeling negative and then mistreating all of the people that they say are what? Non-white.
Are you there, caller? Go ahead.
Yes, I'm here, Phil. Hi. First of all, I'd like to say that I'm white. I can't believe that she's saying that the white people would like to be, I'm assuming she's saying black, not of a darker skin color, but black. I myself am very, very fair-skinned, brunette with green eyes, and I have no desire to be dark.
Why?
Why? I like my color. I was attractive enough that I went to modeling school. I do admit that I do use blush. I do not use blush to, as you say, give myself color. I use it to accent my cheekbones, give myself better appearance.
Do you sunbathe?
No, I don't. And as a matter of fact, I love the beach, and my husband and I, when we've gone to the Bahamas a few times, when we have, I have to wear sunscreen. You know, I don't turn tan. Okay. I get red.
Right.
And I grew up on the beach, and I had a minimal tan. But
you see, but I'm asking.
Well, hang on 1 second.
I want to be clear. Is she saying I want to be dark, but I don't want to be black?
Victoria.
Yes.
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 And
so you'd like to be a little darker than you are?
No, I wouldn't say so. I'm very pleased with my color.
Well, then why do you put rouge on?
To accent my.
Y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. Push me on the algorithm. I greatly appreciate that. Let's get it. Happy New Year, man, to everybody.
Cheekbones.
Highlight the cheekbones.
But why do you suntan? Because the American Dermatological Society would prefer.
She doesn't, probably for that reason.
But she goes to the beach.
She does go to the beach.
I go to the beach because I like the water.
I gotta go.
I like the water. I grew up in California.
Let me try one more. Are you there, caller? Go ahead.
Hi. I'm also white, and I'm very comfortable with being white. I think that she's crazy to think that white people want to be black. You know, we might want to have a little color, but I wouldn't want the features of a black person
Yeah, baby.
And as far as
the what?
She does not want the features of a black person. Do you see? This is.
Hold on a minute.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, in other words, that's racism, but pigmentation isn't?
Well, no, I'm saying that to say I wouldn't want to be. I mean, I can be happy who I am and not say something is negative about the other person.
Well, look, we've got a break here. Is there a, you know, we
got a break.
One of the agonies here is half of this audience does not believe that they're racist.
Oh, wait, well,
I am not more than half.
Let me ask this.
You can't fix it if you don't know you have it.
But wait a minute, I want to ask.
How do you explain what's going on here in this country?
I want to say then, who is? That's like going to Germany. I went to Germany in 1957. And I wanted to live with German people and ask them, did they understand what they were doing?
Yeah.
You know,
Paul, you in the chat. She was in your town. She was in your city. She did observations of Germany. You said she didn't know what she was talking about, but I got to give her credibility because she was in your country.
No, taking their neighbors away and burning them up. Did they understand what was happening? Yeah. Everybody that I talked to knew what was going on. They did nothing. But if you go and say, well, now, who believed what Hitler was saying? Nobody. Everybody says no. You see, every single person says, no, I didn't have anything to do with it.
People who are saying they're not racist, you're accusing of not doing it.
No, I'm not accusing. What I would do is if you have to take a break, is give my definition. You see, give my definition of what I say that racism is.
A functional definition of racism, white supremacy, which you identify with white supremacy, is therefore, for all practical purpose, as follows. The behavioral syndrome of individual and collective color inferiority and numerical inadequacy, which includes patterns of thought, speech, and action as seen in members of the white organization or race. And we'll be back in just a moment. Yes.
Okay, I think people are racism. Okay, there is a lot of people who do have that in them, but I think the majority of the people like people as they are. And if you're educated,
you mean like your kind, you mean?
No, all kinds of people. It doesn't have to be your kind, because
so
I can look at a person.
Any of it? This thing we call racism?
No, because I live in Colonia and we have a whole development of black people. Okay, and well, wait, no, I went to school with them. Okay, and I learned to deal with them. I think that if you learn to, well, we mixed as a group. In other words, we weren't different. We weren't treated different. We weren't treated different, so we were all one kind of person.
Hold your thought. You hang on a minute. What's the matter? What?
This study that was done in 69 and 70, I'd like to know what you've done lately to erase and eradicate racism and to improve
How do you
situation.
feel about what she's saying?
I don't care for it at all.
I want to just say that I feel I am a racist, but every black that calls Whitey a Whitey is also a racist. And
wait a minute. Let me answer that. You see, within a family, people might call each other names. But when we come to the white people on the planet, the majority having organized themselves for white genetic survival, then when a white person can determine what is going to happen to a person of color, that is a difference, because then we're talking about a system of power that can say you can or you can't, or if I want to go back to Germany, because people do a lot of talking about the Holocaust, when the Semites were told, put on this yellow star because you're not white, and you can't go to the university, and you have to live in the ghetto, and you are going to be removed from your homes. That is power. It's not just a question of somebody saying, I don't like John, I don't like Betty. When you have the power to make it impossible for people to live a constructive existence, then that's the difference.
But what we're trying to figure out is why we want that power to do that to another person in the first place. And you're saying white people do it to people of color because they feel,
I think it's a matter of economics more than anything else. And if you're a fair person, you're a fair person. And if this, I don't care who is my neighbor. If they can afford to be my neighbor, if they are the same economic ability that our family have, then they're fine. They're welcome to be my neighbor.
Oh, wait a
And
minute.
we'll be back. I'll give you a chance in just a moment. You know, we do study everything today.
Y'all, this remind me of Jerry Springer. It was like he was Jerry Springer before Jerry. But he was on some real stuff. Pookie lied.
Everything's studied. I mean, figure it out, we study it. Except racism, either whatever scholarship there may be about it, we seem to be running away from, or we're not attracting, our guest accepted, some of the big academics to this issue. You wanted to say.
I'd like to know why Jimmy the Greek had to be fired from CBS for his opinions about blacks, and she can come on national TV and give her opinions about white, and she's not going to get fired from her job. White people can't talk anymore. Oh. And now we have to go write apologies.
White people can't talk anymore. Y'all hear this crowd? This is crazy. This is crazy, bro.
Well, I was just I don't think that you can equate what I'm saying to what he said. I mean, you might, and
Blacks are moving away from their own.
See, let me say this, that I'm not surprised that, what I'm saying might upset people. Now, if you just look, all of the studies that people who say they're white do on black people, the blacks this and studying the blacks that and studying this, saying this about blacks and saying, I mean, the literature is just packed.
But from a behavioral standpoint, I do not think
we have to have an explanation. See, the crest theory, that's one person's idea. I challenge everybody in the audience to write about white supremacy behavior. What is your idea about it? Put your idea out there so that you can explain this very considerable behavior on the planet.
I'm not sure you're going to get the majority of the white community to agree that the majority of the white community is engaging in it.
But wait a minute, let me say this. See, I'm not here complaining about what people who classify themselves as white. I made an analysis. I said that basically I see that people who classify themselves are trying to survive genetically. And I am not saying you cannot do that. But I am going to say what it is, and I really advocate that non-white people on the planet stop expecting for white people to commit genetic suicide.
Doctor, are you aware that within your own culture, you also have racism? In other words, my neighbors moved away from the blacks who were moving in next door to us, and so they wanted to move away in order to give their children a better education. I'm talking about Jersey City, where I am coming
and what's
from.
Your point?
Oh,
and my point is that you also have racism within your own culture.
What are you saying is the racism?
In other words, blacks do not want to live among blacks. They have their own social order. In other words, if my doctor next door to me is black and he prefers not to live among the culture that's moving in to my neighborhood, this happened. I'm evidence of it. Happened many years ago.
Well, are you saying that let's say if you address people of Irish descent, if they move because they have a higher income, are you saying they're conducting racism against their own people? I think that you're clouding the issue. I think that you're clouding the issue about black and white.
Over here, please. I want to give you more time, and someday I'll be a czar, and I'll have all the time I want. Yeah.
Yes, I do believe that there is a such thing as racism among black people, but I believe it's in response to white racism, as opposed to, black people just want to go out and get white folks.
If you jump on my bones enough, I'm sooner or later going to call you names, or my kids are going to call you.
It's self-preservation.
Yes.
I believe there's racism everywhere, but I think it's more like you're not used to people. You hang out with your own group, and
That's true, but why is that? Dr. Welsing is offering here a kind of anthropological theory of racism, which has to do with our fear of, that is to say, white people's fear of their diminishing numbers. We're afraid we'll become extinct. She goes one step further to say that intermarriage scares us because it takes our whiteness away. And if everybody were free without all these terrible prejudices and fears, then it certainly common sense would allow us to conclude that at some point down the line, no whiteness, that is to say, as we think about it in the West, would be left. And she is saying that deep down in here, unconsciously, we're scared to death of that. And that's why we've got black neighborhoods and white.
I disagree. I think you're scared just because people are different. And if you got to know them, you wouldn't be so scared. I don't think it's because we're afraid of being white.
Just for the moment, putting aside theories and the good doctor is only a theory. I don't accept it as.
Oh, people are dumb. I mean, I'm shocked that people, but like y'all said, they saying the same rhetoric today. But I thought they would be smarter than that. This lady came on. Francis came up there and gave y'all specific information, detail. And she gave her point, and you can't really beat it or fight the point. So it's like they got to get emotional with it. But let me let them
fact and generalities and putting this thing on a one-to-one basis. I turned during the stop. I turned to this lady of color sitting next to me, and I said to her, "I don't know about you, but I have never wanted to be black. I'm perfectly comfortable. I've had this white skin for 70 years, and I'm perfectly comfortable."
She agrees.
Wait a
She
minute.
agrees. That's not a jury.
I wouldn't know how to do it differently. And this lady said she felt the same way about the color of her skin. So
I've never wanted to be white because I've always been happy with my color.
But you haven't denied her thesis. She is saying that you don't want to be black. She knows that. And she's saying something else. She's saying that your interest in not being black is resting somewhere way down in your soul, and it's causing some of us to be scared to death that we might be.
you want to know something, Phil? I never even thought about what this lady brought out today, and having heard
That's
it.
what you call subconscious thinking.
And having heard it, to the little bit that I've thought about it, I must say that I totally disagree with her. Although she has a background and I don't.
Okay. All right. Yes. If you're a man, you get to talk. With all this talk,
But they disagreeing, but they don't even have a point on what they disagreeing. It's just like they disagreeing because she black. They're not really disagreeing with. They can't call out a point that she said that's not right or be objective to this. Is like they just saying, I disagree with you. Man, you disagree because it's the truth and it hurts and you don't want to believe it. You get what I'm saying? You don't want to believe that.
What's been going on?
Yeah.
And everything that's been said, I haven't heard one person make mention, especially you, Doctor, about the transition that's been taking place over the past 25 years. Of 20 years ago, who ever heard of a black mayor in the city of Montgomery, Alabama? I have a business in Patterson, New Jersey. Joe Clark, the principal. Yeah. Well, Joe Clark, he's doing a fantastic job. He's black. What about all these other things that are happening? Everything that's going on in television today. When did you see a Bill Cosby show become such a big thing on television? He's black.
Yes.
First of all, I'd like to commend you on your work. I think it's incredible. And also, I'd like to know how you feel about the recent Newsweek article that came out last week.
We're all women. Women.
Wait, Phil, just hold on.
Salute to that woman, man, for putting our legend on the pedestal, man. It's us that always support us. That's all we got.
That addresses the basic assumption that we all are from a common ancestor, meaning we all as humans. And Newsweek revealed that this common ancestor was, in fact, a black woman from sub-Saharan Africa. I'd like to know your comment on that, as well as, do you think that this kind of research, which has clearly been substantiated, really will reach a plateau of exposure? Because I don't think white America is ready to accept the fact that they are indeed genetically descended from a black woman.
Well, I have said that for a long time, that the simplest explanation about the arrival of the different colors on the planet is that you start with black. And from black, if black produces a condition of albinism, then you have white. And then if you mix the two, you get all the colors in the middle. Now, white.
Y'all heard what she said, albinism. So them same albino babies y'all see happening, this is what they did. It was experimented. They seen a black person had an albino baby, and it was like, okay, we can make a race. And it was a lot of work being done. This is, how I feel. They was experimenting, and then they created the white race. Then they created the Asian race. But she's saying it right
cannot
there.
produce black, but black can produce all of the colors on the planet. So I say, since the paleontologists and anthropologists are saying human life began in Africa and the first ancestors for everybody were black. Now, the very fact that people have trouble with that, you see, says something about the psyche, about what people, after white supremacy has been established, what people end up feeling about color.
I think it's very unusual that a psychiatrist would give a biological reason for racism, because I really feel like racism comes from psychology. And if we took, as you said, all of the genetic pool and mixed it together and did come out with a one world color, I still think people would be racist. They'd find something else to come up with.
Wait a minute.
Make people
just accept the truth. You're genetically modified. This is facts. We ain't mad. It's like you here now, but you're genetically modified. You like a broccoli. You feel me? You like a cow. It's like, it could be for the betterment. It could be an advance that, but you genetically modified. It is what it is. It's the truth, but they're going to be upset when somebody telling them this. It only make common sense, right? Why would somebody else make albino people mate with themselves and mess and see, and then they came up with that race? Yakub, right? They want to think that this is the story that they want everybody to think. Black people just turned white one day. They were black, and they went up in the mountains, and then over years, their skin just turned. That's what they want us to believe. That's what they want us to believe, that they were black, they walked somewhere, they went in the Caucasus Mountains, and then 20, 30 years later, everybody white. It's like, how? So we know it was genetically modified.
Period. I am a medical doctor, and a medical doctor has to include the whole body as well as the functioning of the brain that produces the end product of behavior. Now, people, indeed, and I have said, people could have, one of the things that led me to this paper, I said, now, people could have done foot size. I wear 10B. So everybody who has 10B, but people didn't focus on foot size. If they did focus on foot size, some psychiatrists or behavioral scientists would have to come along and raise the critical question, why? But people settled on color. And so as a behavioral scientist, I just put the question in my brain computer and said, why? Why did they settle on color? And what is the significance of color? And let me just throw this out. A few weeks from now is going to be Valentine's Day. And what are the ladies going to want? Chocolate candy.
Wait a minute, don't leave me. Really, that's beginning to sound a little paranoid to me,
Well, yeah. Why? Let me ask you this. I'll tell you, who asked this question on my show?
Why do white people say chocolate is erotic?
Why is
darker?
Chocolate cake devil's food cake and white cake is angel food cake? Muhammad Ali asked that question on this program. And we'll be back in just a moment.
But Dr. Francis went on there in front of all them people and stood her ground. Man, that's what it is to be. We got to be on our business. But I like how she handled herself. And she gave them.
assuming for a moment that your theory is correct, what steps do you recommend to eradicate racism?
Well, I would like the people who classify themselves as white to really get in love with their own color and the fact of the reality that, wait a minute.
They're angry that you suggest they aren't.
Wait a minute. You see,
Why we suggest you aren't? Because you're so busy worried about these people over here. And if not, you should be telling your people, why you so worried about them? Why you worried about this black man nuts? If you that your actions speak that it's something going on. You keep bombing these people town, like what's going on? You have some kind of satisfaction from dealing with us. This is, but they sitting here acting like we don't know what we talking about. Like we just bringing this up out of nowhere.
the proof of behavior is in what you do, not always what you say. But if not that, I advocate that people, black people, non-white people, begin to look at it like a chessboard and understand that if people who classify themselves as white are playing for white genetic survival, then they cannot do the things that black people expect them to do, like help across the board. And that black people are going to have to get accustomed to playing the black side of the chessboard. It's not about hate. Right. See, when you sit down to play chess, you don't hate your opponent. You just know that the white side of the chessboard that always moves first, you see, is playing offense, defense, and the black side has to play defense, offense. And that the anticipation is that the white king is going to be trying to what? Checkmate the black king.
Excuse me. Let me just catch a couple of other your observations. First of all, William Raspberry had, I thought, a very insightful article about you. Talked about lap time. That's a big thing with you. Yeah. Children who are babies, infants, who don't get the, hi, we're glad you're here, tactile kind of. You told Essence magazine, among other things, we cannot wage struggle if the people are weak. You're talking about blacks now. No black female should have children before the age of 30, and no black man should become a father before the age of 35. Before child rearing, we should be going to school, going to the library, educating ourselves. We must create mature, mentally developed parents. Then we will be able to produce children with self-respect and a high level of functioning pattern. Now, wait a minute. Before this white audience gets too goo-goo gaga over this, the point ought to be made that it wouldn't be bad advice for not a few young white folks to keep in mind.
Let me say this, Phil. Wait a minute. Phil,
adequately spacing the children builds a whole-centered child who has gotten special attention. You do not, a family should consist of no more than 2 children, no closer than 3 years apart. The 3 years give you a chance to...
Phil, please, let me just say this, that I'm talking about all of the horrendous problems. If you advocate everybody in here white, read the Urban League report about what is happening to black families, okay? So I'm trying to help black families that are in the midst of the white supremacy dynamic get off of the dependency kick, because I don't see the white supremacy changing. But if black people understand that and follow those regulations that I have set up, you see, no children until 30, no father until 35, no more than 2, so that people can actually take care of their own children.
Okay. Are you there, caller? I'm glad you waited. Go ahead.
Hi. I'm a white female engaged to a black man, and anybody out there who says that there is no prejudice in this country is wrong, because I deal with it every day. I personally get called names. I get called nigger lover, all kinds of things, just by stepping out of the house with my fiance.
And your point is?
My point, what I'm trying to say is, everybody that I talk to that is black, every one of my fiance's friends, tell me they don't have anything against me. They don't have anything against any white person that is nice to them. I have never talked to a black person or anybody of any other race, really, that has ever said, I hate whites. I hate whites. I don't get prejudice. I don't get, discriminated against by his black friends, but I get discriminated against by other white people, and he gets discriminated. I'll tell you, black people in this country have more respect from me than anybody in this whole entire country, because I know what they deal with. A white person, unless you are dating or are closely involved with a black person, don't have any idea what black people go through in this country. They have no idea what it's like.
I thank you for your contribution. You will forgive me for taking leave, and we wish you and your fiancé a long and happy life. I am glad you called. Thanks. Hi, I'm glad you called too. Go ahead.
Yes, Dr. Welsing and Mr. Donahue, I am a black medical student from Massachusetts, and I was a little put off by Dr. Welsing's comment that it seems as if white supremacy is going to take over our life and so forth. But what has happened to me is I have taken control of my own life. I've always grown up in a middle-class society. I've never been in the ghetto, and I don't have any problems relating to other black people or to white people. But I realize that I am the one who's in charge of my life. I make those decisions.
Do you believe race?
Nobody is gonna. No, being black is not going to stop me from succeeding. And I haven't had any problems with white people telling me you can't succeed. So I don't think that being black is an excuse for anything. And I also, as a black person, I have never tried to be white, which was indicated earlier. Those are all the comments that I wanted to make.
Well, I'm not saying that. Let me just say this. I'm sorry. The racism is there, and my grandfather was a physician. My father's a physician. I'm a physician. Black people can do many things in the presence of racism, but I don't think that we should deny that it's here.
And we'll be back in a moment. Yes, ma'am.
There's a lot of validity to your comments on integration, but I think you lose me and a lot of white people when you bring up billiard balls, chocolates, and I want roses.
I think it's dangerous to only address white discrimination and white prejudice without also looking at black prejudice and black discrimination against white people.
I feel your report is somewhat outdated. I think people have changed a lot since 20 years ago.
Racism's kind of going away?
Well, not totally, but somewhat, yes.
Yeah.
Phil, I'd like to address my comment to this lady over here in the white who just said on national television that she's a racist. God help you, my dear, because more and more people in the world are going to start looking like me. People are going to have more color. If you don't learn to accept me for my beauty.
Yes, but if we don't learn to accept what may be there in ourselves, we can't fix it either.
I accept
So please don't
Phil.
punish her for her honesty.
She about to give it a beat. She around here playing. See, back in the 80s, we were standing on real business then. I like
Phil, what she said was a blatantly racist statement. The woman
corrected
admitted
it at herself.
that she is a racist. I take offense in that.
Admit it.
People are not racist.
They are. That's my opinion.
Well, that is the people that you are surrounded by, and
you are too.
You what?
I said you are too, but you're just not admitting it.
Miss, I have absolutely no racism or anything towards you. I feel no remorse. I'm asking the good Lord to help you see my beauty and inner being.
I think New Yorkers are very open-minded.
Well, New Yorkers are.
Yes. I don't know any other.
Yeah.
Briefly, if my white neighbor does something to me to dislike them, I'm not called prejudiced, but if my black neighbor does the same thing to me, they're standing there going prejudiced.
I was also offended by the old lady saying that she was a racist. But I feel that we cannot go forward as a society unless we love one another, unless we get along.
Yes. And we can't go forward unless, racism.
Y'all notice you only seen black and white people? You ain't see like a whole bunch of, you ain't see an Indian and you ain't see none of that.
It's a lot like cancer. You don't always know you have it.
Black and white.
And discovering that it might be there. I don't want to make this about this woman, but if you're going to punish this woman's honesty, then we're going to get nowhere.
But she did offend me, and I'm sure she offended a lot of other people.
I don't think that it's racist. I don't think that anyone is being racist here. I think that the problem is that
Over here, George, yes.
I think that they're making too much of a problem out of racist. I think that if I had a white neighbor who was low class, not up to the standards where we'd be just as angry.
Yeah, what?
I just had a little problem with her earlier comments about Mr. White living next door to Mr. Black and exchanging salutations in the morning.
Dr. Francis Wells.
Before, you said that white people wear makeup to bring out their color. Then how come you're wearing makeup? Because you don't like your color?
Are you wearing makeup?
Yes, I have makeup on, but I think that you do have to acknowledge that the whole sun tanning industry and the makeup is because it is white people who are saying that they don't like their color. In Africa, people had all different color, makeup on. You see, but they were not saying they didn't like black.
Over here, Doctor.
Excuse me, earlier in the show, when Phil said, is there racism? The audience was very quiet and he said, come on, we know it's there. When the woman gets up and admits that she's a racist, so you're damned if you do.
Provided and promotional fees paid by the father.
Tell she from New York. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. He said more black people should have something to say. They straight attacking. Yeah, they don't like that. They don't like the theory that they was created off from albino. She basically telling them that. That's what she's telling them. Just like the brother we had came in the chat, they don't really understand that. They thinking that they're people like us, like, you know, it's just another shade. They were somewhere. They don't understand the real history. So it shocks them and it hurts them to hear that. They like, damn, I was genetically modified. They don't want to accept that. But I'm going to keep giving y'all the truth. I can't lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. They made you in the lab. You was in the lab.
Shout out, Rhonda. For real, man. Rhonda down the seat. Neanderthals.
For real, man. But yeah, fam. Had to get, I mean, we jumped on this because somebody had a question about white and black, and I wanted her to see our sister Frances. That's a legend right there. And it's good for us to bring up our old legends because, like y'all see, we dealing people talking that same stuff that they talking. It's like the higher ups programming is really good. They still don't believe it until this day. For real, they don't believe it. They got this weird story where they feel like black people just turned white. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. You said some of us look white too and not albino. Yeah. They did. I did see they had a baby that looked straight white. It wasn't albino too. I did see that. But they ain't never seen no two white persons making a black baby. That's scientific evidence already there to show you that these people had to come first. This, and we not genetically modified. Well, he's saying that some of them look like us that ain't albino. But it is a defect. It's a skin defect with melanin. That's so they say. I mean, don't let me tell it. This is what the scientists and people, our black leaders were saying. They're going to find out very soon. Yeah, man, 2026 coming up. Straight up, the universe ain't no joke. Yeah, man. But y'all seen how it wasn't a tether in sight up there, right? It was only black and white. But now we got Tether Central. We got Tether Central. But man, I appreciate everybody for tapping in, man. We getting close to the new year. We had a good year this year. I wanted to bring out some highlights from the channel. Great observation. Yeah, that's crazy, ain't it? As well, like it seemed like after 88 in the 90s, that's when they said they started with the Somalian people. They started bringing them here. So when the crime bill was happening, when all of that crime, they were trying to get us in jail, they was already bringing people over there. Yeah. There's more Spanish people in America than black people right now. Okay.
Not a tether in sight.
Can you imagine, like, today was a good day. You ain't had to see a tether in sight. I didn't really peep till you mentioned it. For real. Cause I mean in Florida, it's like from North Florida to South Florida. North Florida is more black and white, and like everything else in Florida is like mixed, but the North is black and white. Black people will inherit the earth. Big fat, big fat. But yeah, man, we just gotta keep doing what we're doing. Shout out to the FBA family. But this was a big year for FBA. We really it's like really trending right now. More white people I want to come on and see what we're about. I'm getting more and more white people that's coming on to the channel trying to see like what is FBA about. Like they don't really know like what's going on about this movement, but they're getting more and more interested. The dude put on my channel, a white dude put, man, the more I'm learning more about FBA, I just think we just need the black and white people just need to come together, man. We agree on the same thing. That's what they wrote. But I'm getting more and more white people coming onto the chat. Like they understanding that it's a lot of black people that y'all think is us and they ain't even us, man. Y'all don't even know what's going on. But it's crazy right now. It's eye opening for them. Like Curtis Mayfield's song, you got to keep on pushing. Yeah, that's that funk too. Psych. Yeah though, but yeah, we ain't letting them get away with us. But really it comes down to the money. To see how these immigrants coming over here getting that money is that should piss everybody off. Like we got a 2026, we got to get them up out of the seats, and we need to be doing that. We should be optimistic about doing that for our towns, our cities and stuff. We need our malls. It's like, that's crazy. But yeah, they open our eyes up to all of this money that they shipping out. It's messed up, man. But yeah, I had to go live, man. But y'all know we're gonna go live Friday, Saturday, Sunday for sure. I told Philly, got mad Africans. Now they almost got their own hood. It was none when I was a kid. That's what I'm saying, man. Even in my neighborhood, right? I remember me going to college and then coming back, and they built a lot of houses in the neighborhood, and it was immigrants now. My town was pretty much all black, but now they were bringing in black immigrants in our town building houses. So it's like they're getting funded out, they're getting funded in grants. Yeah, they stole a lot of FBA money, man. Bro, I just did a short. I did a short on a lady, Sheila Sherfullis. She got 5 million. But they pushing a lot of immigrants, man, in this country, and they trying to get some from South Africa, some white people from South Africa. It's like they getting black, white, China, they getting all kind of different races, and they got different things they having them do. That we gotta stop it. We gotta stop it. You can't go to no other country and do that. We can't go to India and just chop it up with these people and be a politician. And people will kill you, bro. But I can use $1 million. Immigrants has stole enough for FBA. Man, they stole billions. Bro, we probably could have had reparations 3-4 times. how much money, how much of our money they spend. They come with the black face and the real though. Real. Yeah, man. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it, fam. I don't like it. For real. But yeah, we gotta keep them out of our politics, bro. I mean, we got to keep them out of our politics. Cause yeah, it's getting crazy out here with these immigrants. But man, salute. Salute, fam. Happy New Year to everybody. Same with the Hispanics in Baltimore. They all in the southeast. Remember, it was not one when I was a kid. Yeah, man, we seeing the gentrification that's going on. We seeing the gentrification. It's really keeping us at the bottom. That's what it is. It's like it was a smart move by them. Happy New Year, Warrior. It was a smart move by them because it's like it's diluting this and making it harder for us to get what we want and get policies for us. It's like now we fighting against all of these other. So it was definitely a smart move by the white supremacists for real. We want own politics and everything. Yeah. Especially when our rappers was rapping politics. Man, they did a smart move when they made gangster rap. When they made gangster rap, they killed it. Another barrier. Yeah, man. We had politics. We was talking all our rap was politics. We need to go back to that. We need to go back to rap strictly political. It's all it's all you can talk about. The gatekeeper nip it in the bud. For real though. Yeah. It's a lot of gatekeeping. We're gonna have to gatekeep. Like once we get in there, we're gonna have to gatekeep. We're gonna have to say only people from the land. You gotta have 5 generations plus to even be considered. You have to be, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have ancestral from this land. Fear of the Black Planet. Big fat. Yeah, they fear the Black Planet, man. Mm-hmm. Rap used to be our news and learning, yeah. Public enemy number one, oh man. Where Africans and all these tellers say we don't own that. They need to be reminded we own the stores, gas station in our home. Yeah, we owned it all. Big facts, big facts. 5 generation plus is a minimum, right? It's the minimum, bro. First immigration is like you're not qualified. You have your kids like, bro, it'll be, and by the time them kids get here, it'll be it's gonna change. You're gonna need 10 generations. I got that Public Enemy Supreme Puff with that cover out on. Salute, man. Man, Happy New Year to everybody. I think it's 12, was almost 159. KRS-One, you must learn. Oh yeah. Yeah, KRS-One was on it, man. He done switched over a little bit once he got political, but it's all good. To the 50s, right? When it was nothing. That's how we're gonna have to do it. I'm telling you, man, these immigrants gonna come here and they gonna put a whole bunch another 100,000-200,000 people on and in the country. It doesn't matter what. Sylvia, shout out to Sylvia. Shout out to Sylvia. Salute, salute. But happy New Year to everybody, man. Y'all know how we do. Y'all know how we do. But yeah, we standing on business tonight. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Subscribe to the channel if y'all ain't already subscribed. We going hard in 2026, man. Y'all look out. Well, white people be looking at me crazy when I wear. Yeah. Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all be safe out there, man. I'm finna go chop it up, get something ready. But y'all check my videos out tomorrow. We got something dropping for the first. I wanted to drop some highlights, man. I may do it if I have enough time. Y'all check it out. But go into my post in my community section and make sure y'all sign that petition to get FBA in office. So we can keep the ball rolling and pushing on that. But I love and appreciate y'all that this channel support LGBT community, please. Man, why you coming in here with that, bro? There's got to be a difference in gatekeeping and willful participation, though. How we all keep FBA out of the game, but everyone else get the green light. Yeah, that's a lawsuit, family. Got to be something like this. How the heck he get on my channel, man, with all of this? But look, man, don't even respond to that, y'all. That's probably them people coming in here, probably trying to take the channel, pull the channel down. But man, I love and appreciate y'all for the late topic. Nah, man, it's good. I appreciate it, bro. But yeah, don't even answer Bartho, bro. They in there they send an agent. But I love and appreciate y'all, man. Always support me, man. Y'all look out. We're gonna have something dropping tomorrow, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we going live. Standing on business. So I love and appreciate y'all. Shout out to Ameswell, Call Dog, holding it down, man. And my boy Don Jeter looked out today. And Paul, man, we had Paul in Germany had none donated to the chat. He learned something about his culture. So OG Lays Drug, everybody who tapped in, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all stay looking at Donna C and Extra Lovely. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. But yeah, man, y'all enjoy y'all night. Y'all be safe. And I catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace and love. Y'all know how we do. Yeah.